Kim, good morning.
Good morning.
Hakuna Matata.
And Hakuna Matata, Simba feels very much the same way. You can see he's got a little bit of a, what we would call a lion cut right now, and Simba is a Pekingese, so normally he would have very, very long hair, but because he was quite matted and had a lot of knots and some skin issues as a result of not being sort of groomed properly, we had to shave him up, so he is going to grow a lot of hair back and look a little less like a lion and more like a Pekingese, but for now, Simba fits pretty well for him.
And a good reminder of why it's important to continue, especially with the long hair, to brush and groom properly so that they don't get, unfortunately, maybe a haircut a little bit shorter than they actually want. We've got some training tips with Simba in just a moment, but first tell us a little bit about Milo.
Yeah, Milo's are one of our wee little chihuahuas. We've got quite a flock or a herd of little dogs here right now, and Milo's a little guy who's been with us for a while. He was in a home with 3 small children and developed some anxiety issues. So Milo right now is taking some doggy anxiety medication, and that's helping him a lot. He was chewing on his own feet, and he actually had injured himself, which is why he's wearing the cone. So Milo's really looking for a home that's going to be calm and quiet, maybe with someone who's at home and is happy to have him cuddling in his lap most of the time.
Okay, so we'll have more details on how you can adopt these 2. But first off, Simba has a bit of a talent, escape artist. How do we train our dogs to make sure they sort of stay close to home?
Simba is sort of the antithesis of Milo. He's an adventurer spirit, right? So he's the kind of dog who was like out ready to see the world, and really 2 key tips. Number 1, sorry, plug your ears, buddy, neuter.
Oh.
Yeah, Simba, since he's come to see us, has gone to visit the veterinarian, and that will definitely help his urge to wander and to roam. But one of the really important things I think people need to realize is home has to be more fun than everywhere else. You know, and for a dog, there's lots of places in the world that are exciting. There's other dogs out there. Simba's very social with other dogs, so he likes to go and make friends. So you have to work hard at making home a good place to be. So playing in the yard, lots of training, lots of rewards, lots of toys, lots of interaction, and lots of supervision.
Great tips. And if you want to adopt Milo or Simba, you can, of course, check out the Surrey Animal Resource Centre. We've got lots more throughout the morning. And, you know, cats, I wonder, can they actually be trained, Kim?
They certainly can. If you think about marine mammals, all of the different zoo animals that people do training with, all you really need to do is figure out for any animal what they find rewarding, and then use that to manipulate their environment to get the behavior you want.
And then we've got little kittens here. So, I mean... Aren't they just adorable?
They are certainly adorable, but one of the things I think people need to recognize about kittens is look at them. I mean, they can't sit still, right? They're crazy busy, they're into everything. So people get the idea that they want to have an animal join the house, and they don't necessarily understand that kittens are going to be up the walls, up the curtains, into everything, in the middle of the night sometimes, you know, 3 in the morning, they jump on your feet and bite them. So it's a lot of effort and investment, just like it is with a puppy or any other juvenile animal.
But you really want to find your perfect match, as you do with any animal that you adopt. So you actually have this fun way of determining your perfect match, kind of like Match.com.
Very much like that. It's called. It's a program called Meet Your Match, and basically, if you come to the shelter, what we're going to ask you to do is fill out a bit of a profile, and it'll be about your home and your family and your lifestyle. And then what you do is you'll get basically a color code and a personality type. And when you come into our cat adoption rooms, you'll see there's little markers on all of the cages that have a color. They'll be bright orange, bright purple, or bright green, with a little description of the cat that's in there. And you know, you're certainly welcome to choose a cat from outside that description, but what we really want people to think about is the likelihood of a good match. So if you choose something outside of what you got coded for, you may have some struggles in that relationship, but you're welcome to make that choice. So it's really just an educational tool to think about. You know, even in these 3 kittens here, we've got Chip and Tucker and Pippin, and 2 of them are kind of social and purring and interactive, and Chip is on the go, right? He's chasing that toy around, doesn't want to sit still, doesn't want to be petted. So you need to think about whether that's the kind of cat you want in your home or not.
Lots to think about, Michelle. And by the way, I've posted that poster, that chart on my Twitter feed at Dawn Chubet if you want to see a little bit more. But again, to adopt any of these kittens or any of the other animals here at the Surrey Animal Resource Centre, you can come and check them out here in Surrey. That's right, here at the Surrey Animal Resource Centre, where I expect, Kim, we have a viral video just waiting to happen for dogs. We're talking about training tips, specifically socializing right now. And of course, with the off-leash parks and everything, this kind of scenario could happen.
Absolutely, and does happen every day. And one of the things we need to be attentive to as an owner is what's going on with our dogs and whether they're being appropriate or not. It really isn't fair to expect other dogs to do all the work when it comes to socializing our dogs. Although that was a very nice interaction between Pepe and Oakley. Oakley went to sort of grab onto Pepe, who's a little bit rude himself, and got told no. Simba, who's going to tolerate Pepe's rudeness, we're just going to intervene there and stop that for a moment so he doesn't learn any inappropriate behaviors. So it really, the key message to owners is socializing your dog is your responsibility. It's not other dogs' responsibilities. You don't go to the dog park and cut your dog loose and expect someone else's dog to teach them the right lessons, because how do you know that dog actually has good manners and is sharing appropriate doggy language with them?
We'll just separate these
Yeah,
two
we
here.
got some
Let's talk about potty training, because puppies especially, accidents are bound to happen. I mean, even babies, need diapers. So
Absolutely.
What's the proper way? I mean, back in the day, I had a neighbor that would, shove the nose right in whatever the accident was. Is that right?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
If the accident happens, you've missed the boat. So it's the same rule about teaching anything. If the behavior's over, there's not really anything you can do other than sort of tap yourself on the wrist and not make that mistake again. So if your puppy's gone to the bathroom someplace it shouldn't, it's because you weren't paying attention. So really, puppies, when they're not house trained, need to be supervised. If they're out and about, they need supervision. They need to have plenty of opportunities to make the right choices. So they need to be able to go outside and potty and be rewarded for where they're pottying and making good choices. And then when they're in the house and you can't supervise them, that's a perfect time for them to be crated with a chew toy, have a little bit of a nap and a rest, and then as soon as you get them out again, back outside for another potty break.
Fantastic. So much great information here. By the way, all these dogs here available for adoption at the Surrey Animal Resource Centre. Things getting very friendly out here on the Wi-Fi. Turning out to be a beautiful day out here in Surrey. We're at the Surrey Animal Resource Centre, where we've got several little friends hanging outside with us. How are you doing there, Kim?
Very well.
And our good little friends here.
And they're being so good. This is Oakley. Oakley's about a 6-month-old, probably Great Pyrenees mix. And Smarty, who's, very good, learned his name. And he's also about a 6-month-old Maltipoo or some other little type of hairy mix.
Yeah.
Hairy, not so hairy.
How did you come to get these guys here?
Both of these dogs were strays, so they were both sort of went walkabout from wherever they were and joined us here at the shelter. So they're now been held for the appropriate amount of time and are available for adoption.
And how wonderful that you have this great outdoor space. I mean, look at these dogs here,
Yeah.
Nelson. Let's show everybody at home. I mean, just the freedom that they have to roam around here. And that is a really nice quality that you have out here.
Absolutely, and so important for them to have appropriate exercise, just for the dogs to have an opportunity to come out, burn off some energy, have some breakfast, have a bit of a nap, like they might in a regular home environment. If we didn't have this, it'd be very hard to meet some of those needs.
Let's talk then, okay, about the diet, because we've got the exercise, and just like humans, we need to have a proper exercise regime and also a proper diet. Lisa, let's talk about the varied needs that different animals of different ages and breeds might have.
Well, a little tiny dog has a much higher energy requirement than a much larger dog like Oakley. And Oakley has some extra special concerns because he's going to be a very large dog. If he is truly a Great Pyrenees, he'll be over 120 pounds when he's full grown, which means if he grows too fast, we worry about his hips and his joints. So there are special foods to make sure that he grows properly. And for the little guys, we have foods that are specially made for them. The kibble is a little smaller, so it's more appropriate for his little mouth. And the energy is in there. It's much higher calorie and a little higher in fat. There's also other options. You don't just have to restrict yourself to raw or to kibble. If you're interested in other options, something maybe you want to home cook, everybody likes to cook for their pet, something like this makes sure it's nutritionally complete. All you have to do is add meat, and then you've got all the vitamins and minerals you need, but you have more control over the food.
And some of the things you were saying off camera too is to remember the calcium that we need for our pets. So it's really making sure they have a complete nutritional profile, right?
Especially when we're young. Food is extremely important to pets. It can be the safest and most powerful medicine that we have, that we can do. So while they're young, nutrition is really important.
So much great information here again at the Surrey Animal Resource Centre. Jody and Riaz, these guys are fast friends. If you want to adopt any of the animals we featured this morning, of course, you can check them out here in Surrey.